Afternoon, morning. My camera needs to be adjusted a little bit. Hold on. Can't see the guitar. That's better. So, how's everybody doing? Welcome to another live stream. Been working hard on this week on new videos, so they're on the way. Just doing a bunch of them at once and slowly release them like I talked about. So the chord shape video will be the next one in line. Everybody knows that, and everybody knows the instructional video, the beginner guitar lessons stuff. That one I've got a bunch planned for. I don't know how long that's going to be. That's going to be a long series that'll continue for a while. But then after that, I'm going to do another tutorial video. I don't know if I mentioned it or not. I'm going to do Cannonball Rag. Did the sound go? Can you hear me? Hello. How about the guitar? I'll just play for a minute. Having fun anyway. Cool. All right, awesome. Sounds working. Yeah, so then it'll be Cannonball Rag. And going forward with some of these tutorials, I'm you know, one of the issues with doing some of these video, you know, you try to break these songs down, you try to get them as accurately as possible, but it's not always the case. So I'm just going to, it's going to be to the best of my ability, and I'm probably going to get a couple things wrong here and there, but you can't please everybody. What's the saying? You can please some of the people some of the time. So a lot of it is my interpretation, and unless it's really a rockabilly song, that's, I've noticed, if something does get kind of, if I get something wrong or I make a mistake, it tends to happen with the stuff that's not rockabilly related. And I think part of that is because when you play in a three-piece band, when you're playing surf rock or the finger picking Chet Atkins stuff or whatever, you have to make accommodations. You have to change the way you play certain things to make it work as the only guitar player in the band. And so sometimes that stuff will bleed over into your actual playing and instructions and stuff like that. So that's the that's essentially the gist of where I want to take some of the tutorials, because I think it's also more practical. Part of the reason I got into rockabilly was not just because I liked it, of course, but it was also just logistics. It's much easier to find three guys to get three guys together than it is to get four or five. And the rockabilly stuff just worked really well. And then, well, what song can we do? And certain songs, when you're first starting out, you're doing a bunch of covers, you're not really thinking about originals. And the rhythm, not having the rhythm guitar there or a piano or whatever, limits you, or at least you think it does, until you start just interpreting it and changing it around. It doesn't have to be exactly as written. And that's kind of the point and the message that I want to get across to people as well. But it doesn't have to be 100% exactly like the original, because you're doing it. You don't want to just copy it 100%. The rockabilly stuff ends up being the closest, obviously, because it works with the sound, the genre. So when we play Stray Cat Strut, for example, it's going to sound closer to the original than Walk Don't Run, So, yeah. Oh, I know. I do that all the time. I go when I started doing that. At first, I wasn't doing that. I wasn't looking at other tutorials, and then I said, I should probably look at other people to see, if I'm getting something wrong. And I find that that's exactly what happens. No three are alike, so everyone's a little bit different. Um, Even the tablature itself. I bring it up only because I've been crazy busy and I haven't had a chance to go through any of the comments from the videos lately. And most 99% of them are positive, right? Pretty good. There's a couple of like little complaints here and there, and so I'm like, oh well, it was just some silly thing on Mr. Sandman, not a big deal. It's just the way the chord is played, right? Can you break it up here? Do that crazy stretch that I talked about in the video, right? But anyway, the I guess I didn't let it ring out enough or something like that on in the original, or in the video. But even one of the I had an old I think it's Hal I think it's by Hal Leonard, one of the actual like official transcriptions from that song didn't even have the full stretch in there. It was just played like this. That's it. Which, and a couple of people have asked that too. I don't know if you'll see it, but if you see this live stream, is that stretch is really difficult. It's not an easy thing to do. So a kind of a workaround, a cheat, you can just do that. Just forget the low note. Just play the top. It's fine. Especially if you're playing with a bass player or a bass player and a drummer. You know what? It doesn't matter. It's fine. And that's an easier way to kind of make that stretch with, and you can still play the song for one little note. It's not really worth the effort to try to do it that way. So anyway, Cannonball Rag will be next, and that is I'm just basing it off of a bunch of different versions that I've heard from. When I was learning it, some of these old songs are really hard to find. They're hard to find. It's hard to find any music or tablature for it. And you find bits and pieces. So you can find like the main lick, but nothing of the solo or nothing of this or that. So I grabbed little pieces of the Merle Travis version. I liked some of the things Tommy Emmanuel was doing. I liked some of the things, I forget the guy's name. He's a guy on YouTube that actually played with Tommy, but I can't remember his name. And they did the Guitar Rag song, and that was a cool version of that. Oh, I know. That's not like Chet. I know that. I know Chet's not there. You're gonna tell me off. I know that. But it's just funny things that people like latch on to when they see these live well, they're not live, these tutorials or whatever. So I just don't want people to get the idea that I'm not intentionally playing it wrong or whatever, or that the rest of the stuff's not valid. You never know what I guess what I'm saying is, if the bulk of it's right, there's always going to be something that I'm gonna miss, and I will always correct it. And if somebody corrects me and they're totally right, I've done it a couple of times already, where some of the videos where I got the wrong chord, and that's on me because I'm not listening to the original. I'll go by like what other people have played or what other people have showed me, like the Walk Don't Run A minor thing. It's not A minor, it's A major, that first chord, and at the end of Two Hip Gotta Go, it goes from one. It goes 1 to 5, which is normal, and that's a standard thing to do. But I always played it with people that went 1 to 4 back and forth. And it works, because the melody kind of does that. Right there. But that's also a D9 too. Okay. So you can interpret it different ways. And I go back and I change the tablature too. So sometimes the video may not be 100%. I'll put a disclaimer in the description just to make sure that I get it, that it's right. You know what I mean? I think the main thing is I don't want people to think that I'm not aware of it. I am aware that the mistakes will be made. I'll try to correct it. That way you don't go, oh, he got this wrong. Oh, I'm not going to learn from him anymore. And so I will take take the advice and the criticisms in stride, of course. But you got to keep going. So that's going to be the next video, the Cannonball and those other two. And then I also have 2 scripts that I wrote for tunes I was going to do like months ago. And I didn't do them because of it was every song I had done up to a point, I've noticed for them it's either been an instrumental or it's been a standard 1-4-5 chord progression. So everybody knows how to follow the 1-4-5. But these other tunes are based around a 1-4-5, but they're not exactly. And one of them was Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, the Setzer tune, and the other one was another Setzer, the 49 Mercury Blues. That's what it is. And it's essentially a 1-4-5, but it's a little bit different. And one of the things that can help cue you with where you are in the song are the vocals. So I didn't want to sing during the tutorial. So I've been trying to figure out how can I teach the form of the verse. I mean, essentially, especially with 49, because it's just could be that for like 6-8 bars or something like that before it even changes the chord. But now that I have the ability to do the tablature and it follows along on screen, we can do that without having to sing. Because if you sing, you're not only singing the melody and the lyrics, which can be copyright claimed, but I don't know about you guys, but if I'm learning a guitar tutorial, I don't want to hear somebody singing, whether they're good or not. I personally don't want to hear it. So now that I figured that out, those are going to be the next 2 after Cannonball Rag. I don't know if I'll do them 2 sets or tunes right after it, one after another, but whatever. It's what I got on the list for other tunes. Somebody else requested a couple of other Elvis tunes. It's Too Much, I think is the name of it. And the other, and then an Eddie Cochran tune, Am I Blue? Actually, it's not his original, but he has a cool version of it. So I'll probably do those too. And so part of the reason why the channel's hasn't produced as much content lately is just because I have been so crazy busy with my normal day job and work that normally around this time of the year, like I said, back in October, things historically slow down to the point where I can have more time. And even though gigs have kind of slowed down, I don't have any gigs this week, and I have a gig next week. My audio work and everything has just gone through the roof, so I just haven't had as much time to dedicate to the channel as I would like. And doing the tutorials, again, trying to get stuff as accurate as I possibly can, just takes a lot of time. Trying to figure out how to, make sure I don't make the mistakes, and listening to it and trying to figure it out. When I did the Rockabilly Boogie video, that one took a long time to really I went on YouTube and slowed it down as much as I could to get some of those notes in there, and especially that third solo where it's just I remember how it goes. Hey, Walter. Oh, thank you, Gizmodus. Yeah, it's all fun. Yeah, it's all fun, Mo, like you said. Just trying to have as much fun with this as I can. And the chord shape one is going to be pretty, I think it's pretty cool. And it's more about the shapes. It's not necessarily inversions. Because the one, and I do mention it in the video briefly, where you've got like a 13 chord, right? You got G13, but you also have a G13 here. The same voicing, but it's just played in a different spot. So it's a different shape. And the important thing in knowing these different things is so you're not doing this all the time. Playing one chord and jumping around here. If I have to play a 13, I only know one voicing. That one. You have this one. All right. That's weird. I don't know if my views are. Is anybody still here? It says nobody's watching right now. So, no, there's somebody watching. Just chat. It's weird how that thing doesn't work. Hello, Playground. Thank you. I appreciate that, Gene. Wish the tabs of the mystery train he plays on the baritone guitar in Japan. Yeah, I wish too. There is, yeah, because that's a tough one too. I play kind of, sort of approximate it when I play live, but um, the tab. Okay, so people are still here. That's weird. It says, yeah. The yeah, the tab is for this. You kind of would need the tab really because it's baritone. You can't really play along to it. I remember when I was first learning it, not this part, but the rest of it, like the right. Oh, okay. Yeah, it says 2 on mine. um, yeah, so that kind of sort of approximate it. And somebody had asked for a full version of that, so I might end up. I'm going to try to transcribe all that stuff and going from a C baritone to the standard tuning. You can, if you have a longer scale guitar, you can just down tune it, raise your bridge a little bit, and then you can play along with it. Oh, now 7. Okay. Yeah, who knows? It's probably just delayed from YouTube because it's not actually. I'm not actually on YouTube looking at it. I'm just on through the OBS plugin. So, and who knows? Because every time I exit OBS after we're done with the stream, it always crashes every time. I can't get it. It updates every week or 2 weeks, and it still crashes. Nothing seems to fix it. Not that it seems to affect anything. Yeah, that part was like this part. How did I play it? Or something there. I can't remember exactly what he's doing there. And then he goes into this lots of the drum and bass solo. But then on the A at this point, so he's something like that. So I usually throw in a different riff there. I'll do the. Then he does this. This is a standard thing that he does all the time, so you can see it. Everybody knows like the pentatonic and the riff here. Like pull off and then go down a string, pull off again, right? And then you go up to the A and the G, the 17th and 15th fret, and you do the same thing. Go down a string and pull off. So you can play double stops. Right. Yeah, definitely a powerful version. It's cool. Yeah, it's cool to see the cocktail kit and then the Mark Winchester great bass solo and all that stuff too. So yeah, so that's just your fifth and your minor third, you know. Right? You can go down. Whatever you want to do. But play that over the one, typically. It's a nice way to kind of get people's attention. It brings it up a little bit, just kind of raises the tension, I guess, of the song. It just brings it up. It's almost like it's gonna like modulation that kind of gets you when a song goes into another key. But you're not doing that. You're just playing the fifth and then the blue note, the minor third. Those intervals are based on a lot of different music from various cultures or have those same intervals. That's one of my favorite things to do is play that, like get the thumb going. And then this is a riff that I came up with. It's one of my tunes. Been a while. So I'm just going around a 1-4-5 to the 4, and then I keep going to A. And off of that tritone there. And then hit the 5, hit the 6, but as a sharp 5. Raise 5, and then back down to the 1. Back to 5, turn around, back to the 1. So it's kind of Um, called Shot of Whiskey. That's on the our first only real original album. So until we get to the next one done, which is still happening, it's just on the back burner right now with all everybody's everybody in the band has their we all have our own businesses and own individual projects that we have going on, not necessarily musically related. Some of it is, some of it isn't, and so we just. But for the most part, it's on me because we've recorded most of the stuff, and I got to finish making the demos up for the new original tunes that I've written. Um, so they can start learning them and possibly play some of them live, and some of them we'll just go in the studio and knock out. Yeah, getting that thumb going takes a minute, but once you get it, you never stop. It's a very, very addicting. I prefer the blue one, probably. Um, I mean, I'm always playing this one on stream, probably because it's just right here. It's just easier for me to grab and than the blue one. But when I play live, I typically play the blue one. This one, it plays great here when I play it at home, but then when I go plug it in, I don't get any sustain out of it. I don't get any. It's the output level is really quiet compared to the compared to the blue one. And when I play with the Mystery Train pedal, I've noticed that when I play any of the guitars, they're fairly even. That preamp knob really helps kind of um, even everything out. It almost acts as it's almost like a compressor. I know it's not really a compressor sustainer. I've never really used one of those because the the compressor sustainer thing with hollow bodies can be, um, if you put it on too much, it can cause feedback. So it's something that I've thought about maybe adding to the pedal board a compressor sustainer. I don't know. They say, oh, it sucks your tone and all that stuff, but I've never really used one other than store demos and things. So that might help with certain things. I don't know. Um, Especially with certain guitars. But a lot of the sustain is in the setup anyway. It's not it's not the amp or anything. But also the electronics. This one's got random issues. It'll cut out or pop or crackle or something like that. And I've had the pots and everything replaced. So I think I need to take it in some place that can just really set it back up the way it's supposed to be. Hook because I have had these knobs disconnected, the dice knobs, which are just the tone not they're not even tone knobs, they're volume knobs for the individual pickups, which is kind of silly because why you have this, you have your master volume. Why do you need a? I mean, I guess if you want to be in the middle and you want to just slightly bring one down, I guess I don't know. Um, oh, is that the Reverend Horton Heat version? They're not making that anymore? Oh, that's weird. Yeah, the Rev version is cool. Um, is that the one with P90s or is that the Eddie Cochran one? I know the Eddie Cochran one has like a P90 Dynasonic one. Looking it up. There we go. Oh no, it looks like oh, they look like Filtertrons. Yeah. Oh, the blue one they don't make anymore. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. No, they don't. Yeah, they don't make the blue one anymore. That's why I bought it. Oh, the TV Jones Classics. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, the yeah, the blue one they stopped making. I was keeping an eye on it, and my Oh, it looks nice. I was looking at this Chet Atkins. I kind of like the finish on it. Oh, that's cool. Here, I'll bring it on stream so you can see. Hey, Richard, what's going on? Yeah, that's got a price tag on it. Huh? um, kind of. This is a Chet Atkins model. Um, and I usually avoid them because they usually have the 0 fret, but this one doesn't have it. But it does have a floating bridge. Maybe not. Maybe it's locked down. Hard to say. It looks like it's floating though, and it's definitely not a tune-o-matic. And it looks like it's got flat wounds on it too. No, no standard. Nice finish though. Well, the Rev has a fuller sound. Um, eh. I mean the Setzers is there's he uses the TV Jones, at least for the hot rods anyway. Um, so I don't know. Well, he uses the Reverend one. He uses a different amp and stuff. Yeah, I don't think they used it. It must have been a recent thing where they got rid of the 0 fret because I am so glad that didn't catch on. It's horrible. Um, I had one on my old Tennessee and never again. Oh, the Rev guitar is great. That's funny, because like this one is before, like the Smoke has the Cadillac tailpiece, I believe, and the Reverend has this style Bigsby on it, and the Setzer hot rods don't have this. This was before. This was the one of the first Setzer models that they made in the 90s. And it plays great, but I've had a lot of work done to it over the years, and it's always been problematic. I've had plenty of issues with the nut, the bridge, it was floating, and this and that, all these different things. And so, where with the blue one, I've done very little to it. I've played it enough to where I had to do a fret dress or a grind and polish and smooth the frets down. And you have to lower the nut a little bit when you do that. I've adjusted the neck maybe once. And where this one I had adjusted over and over again over the years, and it's pretty solid now. After about 7 years, they say roughly, like wood starts to kind of settle, and it doesn't move as much unless it's in a really bad environment, really either really humid and hot or cold and dry or something. Oh, that sucks. Got stolen. Oh man. Sorry about that, but yeah, no, the Reverend's never had a 0 fret, neither has the Setzers. It's only been on like the Players models and the Chet Atkins models that they kept doing that for a while, at least anyway. Um, but I'm sure Fender finally said, "Stop, don't do this anymore. This is awful." Yeah, I probably will get either the Smoke. I'll probably get the Smoke next to replace, because I do like having the orange, the orange Gretsch. It's to have a nice replacement for this one. But for now, those are fine. That's what I was going to say. The output levels on these are all different. And when I have the Mystery Brain, I don't really notice it that much. Everything's fairly even. You notice that the blue one kind of breaks up a little bit more, it gets a little more saturated, but that's about it. But the black one isn't really quieter. It's not. It's just a little less saturated, a little smoother, I guess you could say. And this one's got some like kind of twang and spank to it, I guess you could say. But when I don't have the mystery brain and I just use the Space Echo, you really notice the output difference. I was playing last week, and I for the second set I played the Phoenix, and I'm like, wow, the output level is considerably lower. So I went back to the blue one. I'm like, okay, there it is. Yeah, those the blue one has the TV Jones hot rod pickups in them, high whatever the sets are, signature pickups that are like incredibly high output, very very loud. Um, so something to consider that is some kind of a preamp to go through to kind of even out your sound if you're missing, especially the sustain. That is what I really miss. So I'll go and play something like anything, whatever, just a bend, and it'll just go, and it'll just die away. Um, or do something like this, like, and see how it's ringing out here because it's digital and everything. It's when I play through the amp, it just kind of goes, and it's probably still ringing out, but with the drums and the bass going, you're not really hearing it. I'm just not getting the saturation that even if I turn the amp up. And with this one, the final thing I'd say about it, and it's not anything, specific about the Setzer model. It's just the older ones, the 90s ones that I think you can still get, and they're probably cheaper than the newer ones. But the issue that I have is that when I turn the amp up to get more sustain or more saturation or use a pedal or something like that, it'll be a feedback nightmare. And it's not a pleasant feedback like you can kind of control it, and it happens on the low strings for the most part. It's like a squeal, like a high pitched squeal, almost like feedback from microphones in a PA system. It's awful. So, oh, I bet. So you can't, yeah, not as bright as the sensor pickups, but the tone is crazy. You've helped pick out standing in for someone for the last few weeks. Yeah, Smoke Through the Basement. Oh, I'm sure it sounds great. Yeah, that'll probably be my next guitar. Um, so I keep it. I got it on my Sweetwater wish list. So if it pops up and is no longer available, then I just go right to Reverb and find it and grab it. And I like using Sweetwater because if I can, when I got the blue one, I didn't. I don't know. I bought it from some music store in Canada. I don't even know where it came from exactly. There it is. Yeah, I'm not looking at these. I'll flip back for a second. Well, thank you, Richard. I would. I'm sure I will like it. Look at these. I'm not a big fan of the hot rod colors. I mean, the green one's cool, but these other ones are kind of weird. And they have rosewood fingerboards, which I'm not a fan of. I prefer the ebony. Okay, so this has the same. I've never seen that. Must be new. What is that noise? Hmm. Um, I've never seen that before. It didn't have it on any of the ones I've ever bought. That little paper under there. Loosen string, pull to remove. Huh. Anyway, yeah, I like the finish on this. It's cool. The flat. This one's got Tap water green. Yeah. Yeah, this one's like, it's hard to see in the camera, but it's got the maple flame, which is a cool finish as well. Yep. I love that dirty water. Oh, that's Boston. Um, yeah, it's remove. Oh yeah, it's definitely removable. It's just weird that that they they started putting that there because they've never done that in the past. Um, except for my the jazz box, which isn't a piece of paper. It's just yeah, it's just a protection in transit. I see that, but the other one has a foam. Like I never removed it. Didn't say to. I guess I know that that bridge is floating because when I took the strings off, it just flies away. But yeah, I don't think that one's locked down at all. Oh yeah, I have. I've only been briefly through Jersey. I've never really. I took the when I just went from the path. Just took the path to Hoboken or whatever. Back to the city. I just had to go over there. I went over there for like a party and played over there and that sort of stuff. Yeah, one of buddy of mine worked at the not worked lives by the Pabst Blue Ribbon factory, and to this day they can't stand the smell of PBR. But yeah, Sweetwater does the inspections and all that stuff too. So they'll take it back if something's wrong and things like that. I mean, Guitar Center will do the same thing, but it's kind of like a car at Guitar Center. Once you leave the store, if you don't get their little warranty, they may not help you, and they don't really. I mean, I don't like saying anything horribly negative about anything, but Guitar Centers, I would avoid it. I would avoid Guitar Center. It's for buying one. If you want to check something out, that's fine. But the guitars are just they're hanging. Like I think I've mentioned this before. They're just hanging up there for years, and they don't keep the place properly humidified. And the necks, if you look down the necks of a lot of the guitars, they're twisted, and so find a guitar you like and just have them order it. How's the week ahead looking gig wise? 0. Big donut. I've got nothing going on this week other than my Sunday morning. It's not a music thing. It's just my I do a I do the this well a live stream. I run a live stream for a church on Sunday mornings, and so I'm just doing the setting up their sound, and it's fun. I get to play with 3 cameras. One has a little joystick on it, so I can move the pan and zoom in and stuff like that. It's fun. But that's it. Next week I have a duo gig. Oh, that's coming up quick. I forgot about that. I need to order potentially an amplifier. Yeah. So that's it for that for gig wise. Looking at my calendar actually now. So I don't have too much going on this weekend. It means the new album may be finished. Yeah, I'm going to have some time. Well, the thing is my audio work has gone through the roof, which usually I have it's fairly manageable around this time. This is January, February is usually my time to take a step back and just kind of relax a little bit besides, you know, normal work. I don't have the work plus all the gigs And the channel's a relatively new thing for me in my, schedule over the years. But um, the the yeah, doing the album now, I should have. I don't know. I'm gonna try to get it because that's definitely on my list. I finished. I can say this at least. I finished writing the songs that are enough of them that are needed to finish the album. So about 14 songs in total. So right now I'm in the middle of um, recording the demos for the guys so they can learn the tune, and then we'll start playing them live. Some of them anyway, and then the other ones will just be studio projects only. It just depends. Some songs I will add a little bit more to, some I don't. And then we've got a couple other ideas for different albums down the road too. I do have a bunch of when we went to the studio last time, that we recorded the originals, of course, but we also recorded the new just a bunch of covers that we play, and kind of like our versions of covers, so it's not just like 20 Flight Rock or something. It's see what we got here. What did we record? Because we recorded 13 songs, but only about 4 or 5 of them were originals. So we did, we got here. We did Paperback Writer, which was as a surf rock instrumental. There's a version of that. There's us playing it live on YouTube. We recorded a rockabilly version of Personal Jesus, the Depeche Mode tune. That's always fun to play. We did Sea of Love. So that's pretty standard, pretty close to the original. I just add a chord melody guitar solo to it. We do a rumba version of "She's the One" from by the Ramones, and "We Belong Together," the Richie Valens thing. Again, similar to the original, I just add the those guitar solo. And Tico Tico as an instrumental. That's it. Those are the ones we recorded. So in the meantime, I've got this other song called Sinner Man and Cattle Kate, which because I played that on stream, and the Surf at Twilight, which is an instrumental surf rock song, kind of a slow 12/8. Now it's actually just a slow straight rock. It's not 12/8. It's just slow 4/4. And another one called She's a Mystic, which is kind of a, I don't know what the beat. I don't know how to describe it. It's straight eighths, but it's I can play the riff for you here. It's kind of like that, and it has this riff. Kind of that same kind of feel as Paperback or I Feel Fine, a Beatles 60s type of sound to it. Well, thank you, Richard. I hope I hope they do when when I get it done. I think the next the next song I actually will release is at least on YouTube, because that's what I'm going to be doing, is releasing the songs on YouTube. And then once it's done, then I'll probably release the songs on Spotify later. Probably won't do a physical release though, because the last album I did, I I got as the minimum amount that I could with, and still get a professional CD, because if you get smaller than, and the minimum amount is 500. If you get anything less than that, they use what's called CDR, which is basically the CDs you can get at Walmart or whatever to record on your own burner. CD-A is the actual version, the format that is used for professional releases. And so for companies to do that, they have to, they have a minimum requirement. And then of course you have all the artwork and they take care of all the barcode stuff and all that, if you go through CD Baby. But nobody really buys CDs anymore. I have probably 3 or 4 boxes full of old albums that even if I sell maybe 1 or 2 every couple of gigs. So most people just go right to Spotify or will or YouTube or something like that, because it is on YouTube too. Bandcamp, it's on Bandcamp. It's everywhere. It's Bandcamp, SoundCloud, yeah, SoundCloud, and that's Pandora, but that's not as an album. That's just randomized. I don't think you can look at actual albums there. Apple Music, of course, Amazon Music. It's everywhere. But Bobby Fuller, actually, funny, and you mentioned Bobby Fuller because we started doing I Fought the Law the other day. Which is, there was another thing I had wrong. Every time I played it with other people and I'd learn these songs from others, everybody that I ever played it with always went 4-5-4-5, not 5-1, or sorry, 4-1-4-1, where it's actually 5-1-5-1. Listening to the original. Something like that, right? That's a fun song to play. We needed a couple of extra tunes to do we did a surf rock show a couple weeks ago, and we needed a few extra songs, and that was one that popped in our mind. That and that's an easy song to play. Why everybody covers it. The Beach Boys, unfortunately, are definitely out. Can't do that. I can't sing that high. I love their songs, but I can't. I couldn't justify. It's like doing Roy Orbison. It's just not going to happen. Other than I Fought the Law, I don't really. I know he has other tunes, but I'm not familiar with any other ones. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Because there's this, I'm learning from the Bobby Fuller version. I learned the Stray Cats version too, which is pretty much the same thing. It's just a couple of flourish differences, but whatever. When are you guys going to be having your next live stream gig so I can watch my cousin beat the... Yeah, the problem with, other than, my concern for copyright claims, I I don't care about copyright claims, but I do care about copyright strikes, and haven't gotten one yet. So hopefully I don't. And it's not so much the us playing stuff. It's when you have like the background music being played because you have to have that going on. And even if I'm not controlling it, if the club is, it can get um, what I usually would do is just cut that section out. Of course, then the video doesn't go in the live tab; it goes in the live. It goes in the video tab, which is fine. But the other issue that I've had is just a logistical one, which is trying to find a place to put the camera that is out of the way of the dancers, but also we can kind of get to it if something is going wrong or it needs so, and keeping the phone charged as well because I have to use a phone to do it. Um, so I'm looking here and see. I can't. I wish I could do it at this place called Nickanies, which we play, which is our next full band gig. But there is no place. I did set the phone up actually to get ready to do a live stream, and I didn't turn it on because I went to look through it and people were waiting, getting ready to get up and dance was when we started to play. And all you could see was the back of people's heads. You couldn't see us. So I said, well, that's not going to work. So um, we do have, I'll try again the next time because I know I've had a bunch of requests for that. So I could potentially try to, there is it looks like it used to be a lighting setup, or I guess it is, but nobody really uses it up on the above our heads. And I can get one of these. Where is it? I don't know where it went. One of those little tripod stands for the phones that wrap around things and just wrap around the phone up there. But I'd have to run an extension cord so I get the phone will stay charged through the whole stream. Um, so I'll try to get that set up for the next one. If not, I'm looking at like the calendar. Uh, we are playing a place called Myrtle in the end of March. I know that's a little bit. That one's got a great setup for this. I could definitely do it there. But the next gig would be February 15th, day after Valentine's Day. Yeah, I wish we had a full setup to live stream and stuff. We did a live stream gig at a local place, a local venue called the Narrows years ago. It was during the time of the that time a few years ago we all want to forget, um, where nobody was going out, and it was a good setup. They had the double monitor, triple monitor, sound run, and everything, and so multiple camera angles and all that stuff. Oh, so you know Eric, huh? Cool. You don't get down to Jersey over to Rhode Island very often. Yeah, well, I totally understand that. So yeah, I can definitely. I'll make sure that I do the best I can. I'll set up some sort of live stream, even if it's not the whole show. We'll just we'll at least get a little bit. Cool. Awesome. Great. All right, I'll definitely make an effort to do it. I'll try to set it up above us. That would be a great angle too, because you could look down, you could see the whole band. Where the other angles, the way it's set up is just kind of it's just a big open area. There's a table there, but everybody sits at the table, so you wouldn't be able to see anything. And the bar is right. I'm here. The bar is off to my left, and then the bathroom is right there too. So, uh, people are always kind of back and forth. You'd never be able, even if I said it that way, you wouldn't be able to see anything. Cool. Your cousin, guys, or brothers grew up to. Oh, cool. Well, next time I see him, I'll have to. I'll let him know that you said hey on the live stream. um. Yeah. So anyway, what's that? Well, I've been going for about an hour. So the other thing too is I was going to try to change up the live stream format just a little bit. So I'm working on these little intros, I guess you would call them, or scenes that I could click to, and we do like a little segment of learning a riff, then we learn a song, and then go into any channel updates if there are any, and then go into this, just talking and whatever. Can't find anything. I have so many notes. It's hard to sift through all that. But yeah, just little lessons and little riffs and things like that that can help. This, oh. Yeah, so we'll go over something like maybe the whatever, either the opening riff to a song or something like that. Like Blue Days, Black Nights, or something. There's another couple other tunes that's pretty much become staples of rockabilly bands these days, at least since I've been playing. Um, are the songs from Go Cat Go, Go Cat Go. Doing drywall work. Oh no, I haven't. I haven't gotten any influence from them. Eric might have though, but I'll definitely check them out. Eric makes playlists and stuff all the time too, so I'll listen to, and I probably have heard him, and I just don't know. But I listen to a lot of the. He's introduced me to a lot of the surf rock stuff that I didn't know existed before. I love it. It's great. Yeah, Blue Days, Black Nights is a must learn. So that Go Cat Go stuff. Everybody, if you know it, it's I only know the two that we play, which is uh, Please Mama Please and Little Baby Doll. We used to play another one of the slower tunes, but I can't remember what it was called now. We did it like maybe 3 or 4 times. Um, yeah, it was a band that was in the '90s in the U.S. around, I forget where they're from, Maryland, I think. And they had some great tracks. They recorded a lot of their stuff at Sun Studios, and um, just a really great band. Unfortunately, the singer was killed in a hunting accident. I forget when exactly, but had a great voice. Darren or something, or I think his name was. Anyway, the song, Please Mama Please, it's like Run Around Sue. C, A minor, F. Right. Right. And then the solo kind of plays off of that, right? Use the Bigsby there too. Back to the chords. And that's really the whole, it goes to a bridge where it just goes to 4. We'll stop, and then the bass walks down. Then the other one, Little Baby Doll, is a cool one. Now that one, I don't know how he originally played it, but it's definitely one I would use the thumb and the fingers for. So that's a fun, I like playing that stuff. That's always a fun rockabilly sounding stuff. So you get the drums doing the train beat, on the snare, right? And they get the upright bass clicking. That sounds like a great 3-piece rockabilly thing. And you could add an acoustic guitar to stuff like that as well. That's kind of fills in it a little bit. Let's see, what else? I'll save the chord form things for the video that's coming out, but essentially I just go over, break down, and I'll have the tablature and sheet music there too to break down some of these other chord forms. And this is where it helps to know a little bit of theory and how chords are built, so you can figure out different inversions of chords. So you're just making small movements around the neck as opposed to, like I said, jumping back and forth. So everybody plays like a 6 chord like this, right? Or this. It's G, G. But you can also play this. Right? And it's minor versions, right? So I go over that in the video. Those different sorts of ways of playing. Sometimes it's the same voicing, sometimes it's different, but just different common shapes that you'll run into. So like playing a C major 7, if you want to go to a 5, 13, you don't have to jump way down here. You can just move one note, and there's your chord. And it's all right there, and you're not jumping all around the neck. So that's, and you can do the palm muting stuff, and certain voicings positions and shapes will let you do bounce between the root and the 5, like this 6 version. whatever you're playing, just like this, C the 7th, based on that kind of position, you can do the same thing. Right. Do the 6 there. Do it on a 9. Do it on this 9 too. Everybody knows these, right? And this. There's this one too. And you can. Whatever. So having those in your back, the back of your mind, it's helped me a lot, especially when I was doing a lot of reading, and for big bands and stuff like that, where you were just chopping wood, as they say, because you're just doing a lot of that. Or you can, what is it here? You can replace that instead of the 2, or instead of the 6. D minor 7 here, also here, also here, right? Also here, that. I mean, this is just a partial D minor 7. And it's that same positioning. You're just jumping back and forth down a string and back, and you can do these minor, the 5th. Or the 2, dominant 2. Probably sounds familiar, right? Yeah, it's gonna be pretty snappy, but I'll have the tab up there, and they have this new tool. Well, to me, it's new. In the Guitar Pro program that I have now, where I can show not just the notes and the tablature, but also an image of the fingerboard, so you can see where your fingers would go, kind of like a chord block that you would see in sheet music, but it's and I believe that, yeah, you're playing the tablature, and of course, if you play to it, you can actually have that on the screen if you wanted, and the dots will jump around and be in sync with the tab and stuff like that, which is fine, I guess, but I wouldn't find that useful. That would be more distracting than anything. But for the chords, it's good to be able to see it like that, right? And no, I will not put the camera over my shoulder. Yeah, a lot of these chords I learned when I was learning one of the Setzer tunes, that Drink That Bottle Down, that's on his Hot Licks video, kind of introduced me to some of these jazz chords. And then I started taking jazz lessons later, and they would show me how they did it, because I'm just going by what he's doing, and then taking the tab and the notation and trying to figure it out myself. Which brings me to this other point that I've seen a lot of books and even YouTube videos online on guitar tutorials about hand positioning. And when you play, they always tell you as best as possible, and it is a good idea to keep your thumb like parallel to your hand like that, right? Not like this. You don't want to be like that. But, you know, a lot of people, in fact, everybody that I ever watch that plays like an E chord, in the books they'll show you, oh, play it like this, where your hands are like that. And it's a good idea to kind of start there, but ultimately over the years you're just going to end up doing that because you know you're going to move to a different chord. You're not doing this, right? Nobody plays E and then plays an A, you know, past their first year of playing the guitar. Usually you usually just start doing that, barring the second fret, right? Because that's, I mean, you can do it, but if you have to switch really fast, it's easier to just go. And if you're playing riffs like this, you know, stuff like that, and little jazz runs, whatever, you want to have your hand parallel, and it's got to be, you can move your wrist under if you need more leverage or whatever, but you definitely want to do something like that. But for chords, it's okay to have your thumb up like this, because if you watch Chet Atkins, he's doing this all the time, right? Or playing an F like this, as opposed to this. That at the end of Mr. Sandman, where it goes, my thumb pick here. Well, the end of the first verse there. You got that. Oh, you got to have the open string, but you need the D pressed like this. You can't, you know, you have to do it this way. And it notates that even in some of the tablature where it says T for thumb. So you want to have that wrapped around there. And my jazz teacher, the old school jazz cats, would always play like this. So instead of playing like you have a Pro Tools freak out, you have a flat five, right? Something like that. You would play it like this with your thumb, right? Or what are some of the other chords they play? Any sort of thing like that, where you can have your thumb wrapped around the bottom string. And that's the way those guys used to play it. Havens. Yeah, is that the guy I'm thinking of? Yep, I know who you're talking about. Yep. A bass player, actually, a mutual friend of ours, he was brought this guy up and was playing some videos of him playing. So yeah, I always, when I think about the thumb thing, I always think about this guy. I forgot his name, but yep, exactly. That's what I mean. Like people play in different ways, and these, you know, and the jazz guys that I learned from were, you know, they were older. I mean, some of them played with the original Glenn Miller and Benny Goodman bands. So and they all kind of they were in their 80s at the time, and the so they were around in the same circles. But I know the trombone, not the trombone, the baritone sax played with the original Glenn Miller band, and and the guitar players were around in that, that time, living in New York or whatever, playing at the Copacabana and stuff like that, and so playing those chords with the thumb wrapped around it is completely the opposite of what most modern um, instructional books and instructional videos will tell you, is that you have to play it like this. And that's a lot of that stuff tends to be geared towards rock and or metal or something like that, or even, and some of it is jazz oriented, and for individual riffs and things like that, yes, you want to make sure your hand is present, but you should be able to go back and forth between the two, than to just, because some of the moves that you go and play, you want to try to play from other players, you can't do it unless you use your thumb. So you have to kind of kind of learn to do that and break with the standardization. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. There was a video on VH1, I think. I think it was VH1. The history of whatever, like a behind the music. That's what it was called. Behind the music. Setzer and one of his guitar teachers was in the documentary. Yeah. Even what's his name? Bruno. Was it Bruno? I'm so bad with names, but he's got a channel too. And he's a great jazz guy, but he'll do a lot of that too, and bar with the hand and stuff like this, and bar with the thumb and things. So I guess it's a good place to start, but it's not always be flexible with the playing. Never really get too locked into one type of thing, and it's okay to play something a little bit different. I mean, if you look at most of the players that have created most of the music that we all listen to, or didn't take proper lessons and didn't learn the proper way, whatever that means. He might have. It's been a while since I've seen either one of those things. But all those, with a lot of the jazz chords, you only really play 3 or 4 strings anyway. Whoops. And you really don't need, because you don't need 6 most of the time until you get into more complicated voicings. They just kind of they just double notes anyway. Like that would be the full chord of 6, because you put the 5th in the bass. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do a full chord like that. And that's tough with the 6, because without playing a 13, got the 7th in there. You have to bar 2 strings kind of with your ring finger there. Pinch them together. Yeah, the rest is implied, and a lot of it's implied by the bass, for example, which I do mention this in the video. If you take something like an well, we'll just use E flat as an example. You can move that C shape. Everybody moves pretty much every shape except the D and the G. We don't really move the D around too much because, not technically, I mean, technically the C is very similar pattern voicing. This, you have the root and the fifth in the bottom, where with C you've got this voicing, you've got the root and the third. But you can take that, you can move the top 3 strings up like that, but you can't play all 6 strings. So you can do this, you can move this up, you can play a full bar chord version, right? So little movements like this, you're playing E flat here. If you lift your little finger, it's now C minor 7, which is the relative minor. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, C, back and forth. All right there with one note change. And if you play a E flat 6, it's the same chord. It's exactly the same chord as the minor 7. But another thing too, is if you're playing a minor version, you can move this bar chord around the neck. Sometimes that can be a little tough to get used to. But what you can do is, again, with the thumb, you can bar the thumb over the top and bar this on the top with your index finger. Wrap it all around. You can get all 6 strings like that. Or you can just mute the top and bottom strings and just play the middle 4. Move that shape around. And then the trick is when you play the minor version, right? So that's minor, just E flat minor, which is not, it's a bit of a stretch. You can see it's a very similar shape to like a B major 7. But what you can do is you can just not play the low E flat and just play that, which is an F sharp 6. But you're not playing if you're not playing the 5th here, the D flat or the C sharp there, which would be the 5th of F sharp. You're not playing that, you're just playing the top 4 strings. And if you're playing with a bass player, they're going to be playing the root note, so it is implied that it's going to be a E minor, right? But it's also an F sharp 6. So you can find the minor third of whatever minor chord you're playing. Do that riff. Oh, F sharp. Oh, I'll play an F sharp 6. And then you know you can play that shape as well. I use E flat as an example because E flat is the chord where the guitar starts to get weird in the sense that you can play low with E, but if you want to play E flat, most people get stuck and they end up have to play this. And you can't get the rest of the notes in a lower register, but you can if you play that. And you can keep the notes down. Right? Over that one, you would have to play a little trickier. Do that. Just make sure you're not hitting that C sharp in there and you're okay. And it's just knowing how the chords are built, knowing the notes that are in the chords, and I'm pretty good about it these days. I've got pretty much all the notes of most chords memorized. You just have to memorize your scales. And once you know, like, okay, it's E flat, whatever, E flat 9, sharp 5, 13, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're just counting up your scale tones. You know, you have your triad, and then after that, you've got to have, if it's an extension like a 9, flat, whatever, sharp or flat, doesn't matter. You have to have a flat 7 in there to qualify it as as an extended, as a dominant chord. Otherwise, it's an add 9. So you want to, if you omit the flat 7 and you just have your beginning triad and you add a 9 or a 13 to it without that flat 7, it's not a dominant chord anymore. It's an add chord, like playing an add 9. Right? And when you see add 13, it's a 6. Just play a 6. Play a 6 chord. It's the same thing. You're just adding, technically, they call it C6 or A6. Technically, it's an add 13. You can look at it either way. Oh, take care, Richard. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you hanging out. Yeah, we'll see you guys. See you next time. So that's always fascinating to me, trying to find out different, different sort of, chord variations and voicings and things like that. Especially if you, I get tired of the same old standard bar chord forms. Sometimes you want that, sometimes you don't, but for the most part, I try to, I'll just come up with a different voicing, so it's easy to switch between, especially playing like major 7s, right? Playing something like Gentle on My Mind. Whatever. The rhythm under what's going on, right? And that's another, you can play that major 7 just like that. Easy. So that's the kind of stuff I'll be going over, and let's see what else is going on. That's kind of went over the plan for the new videos. Got the chord form thing coming out, then the working on the beginner guitar series. So I'll go through up until, I don't know how long that's going to be or how many episodes, so to speak, I'll have of that. But I don't want to have them be too long either. I want to be able to, like, this is a lesson for the day. This is easily digestible in a shorter video. I don't want the videos to go on for 20 minutes or whatever. If I can get the information across quickly and efficiently, you can always rewind. Well, we don't rewind anymore, but you can back the video up and slow it down and speed it up and all that stuff. And of course, I'll have the tab and all of that I normally have for all the other videos and stuff like that. So somebody else asked about backing tracks for a couple of tunes, and I suppose I'm going to try to go back and look at some of the sessions. These videos take up a lot of hard drive space. So I've got to, some of them I've had to delete, and I don't know if I still have some of the old, so I'd have to rebuild some of the songs that I've done. Some of them I still have, though. But oh, it's still there. Might be able to grab it. Particularly what was Mr. Sandman and Too Hip Gotta Go. I believe somebody asked for a backing track for that. So I probably will make a backing track, and I'll be able to have that on the website as well. That's down the line. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to that, but when I make these videos, I don't make the song as I only make it in sections. So I don't necessarily have an entire backing track together. It's just the verse and then the chorus and this and that, and I don't have the whole thing together. But that might be helpful. I'm trying to think if there's another way to do that with I don't want to put them on YouTube necessarily, but that's crossing a copyright, could be copyright issue by putting them on. I mean, I guess not. Some other people have done backing tracks on YouTube. It's probably fine. There's no melody. There's no melody. It's just chords and rhythm. So cool. All right. Well, anyway, I think it's pretty good to kind of cut it off here. Had a lot of talked about quite a bit. I thought within a short period of time. So I'm going to get back to editing the videos, and I hope everybody's is going to have a good weekend, and hope everybody had a good week. And thank you guys for joining the live stream. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already, and look forward to the other video. We look forward to the other videos coming up soon. Hopefully have it out by the end of next week. And if not, we will be doing this next week, though. We will be switching to Sunday because I have a gig from 6 to 9, and that means I have to leave here by 4 when we start. So I'd have to either do a really, really short one earlier. So I'll just, oh, no problem, Gizmodus. I got to get used to doing it myself too. So, so yeah, next week, next week we'll move it to Sunday, around 4. And although football's going on now, but well, whatever. Yeah, so we'll just do a quick thing next Sunday, and that way I don't like to have something where I have to rush off and make sure I shut down real quick, because you never know how these things go. Oh, there is no football next Sunday. Oh, okay. So yeah, so I don't want to have to just jump up and run. You never know how these things go. Sometimes you go forever, and sometimes it's real quick. But all right. Well, I've had a good time. I hope you guys did too. And until next week, have a good one. See you then.